First in high definition. Live, local, late breaking. This is WMBF News Today at 5:30.
Folks, we know that getting out of debt is not an easy task, so this morning we have tips on who can help and who is more likely to put you deeper into debt. Then from cities across the world to right here in the Grand Strand, people were out in force to welcome in the new year. We've got those celebrations ahead for you. Plus, more questions about how federal agents are getting around the law and getting in to your cell phone records. And if you were one of those out celebrating last night, you already know it was cold then. It's still cold this morning. Marla has the latest on a cold start to this new year.
It's even colder this morning. Temperatures have steadily fallen since midnight. We are now at or below the freezing mark for everyone. In fact, we're at 29 right now for North Myrtle Beach, 30 for Conway, 32 in Myrtle Beach, and 30 in Florence with the upper 20s across the border belt. That means a very, very frosty start, so don't be in a hurry to back out of that driveway. You're going to have to defrost the windshield most likely. Now, by the time we get to noon, temperatures are just barely going to get into the 50s along the beach. We'll be in the upper 40s as you head inland by lunchtime today. Plenty of sunshine. Temperatures are going to really warm up and respond nicely to that sunshine. We'll get in the mid-50s by the time we get to this afternoon. Now, we do have a little bit of fog that I'm tracking, but nothing that should slow you down too much.
Marla, thank you. 5:32 on your New Year's Day. The Darlington County Sheriff's Office continues its search for a person after a road rage incident. We want to show you some pictures that Sheriff Wayne Byrd tweeted shortly after getting to the scene there. Investigators say a Chevy sedan ran through 3 yards on East Carolina Avenue, flipped on its side, and caught fire yesterday. It was around the same time that a call was made to deputies that two drivers were chasing each other. 2 people were arrested at a nearby home. A third suspect is still wanted. If you know anything about this case, call the sheriff's office there in Darlington County. Also in Darlington County, a 16-year-old has been charged as an adult with armed robbery and assault. Investigators say the teen took out a gun, robbed a Domino's delivery driver, and hit him over the head with that weapon. It happened at a home on Lake Swamp Road Tuesday night. A manhunt to find the teen started, but then a confession from his brother helped to track him down. The teen has been held at the Department of Juvenile Justice in Columbia. A bond hearing is set for tomorrow. And we have more details for you about the suspect police say shot a man, stole his car, and then tried to ram into officers. 24-year-old Deshaun Garner remains behind bars after a judge denied his bond yesterday. He faces multiple charges, including attempted murder, after Tuesday's incident. The judge explained to Garner he also is being charged with being a fugitive in the state of South Carolina because of charges against him in the state of New Jersey. Some of those victims' family members showed up to give their statements to the judge before she made her decision. The victim still in the hospital with what we're told are severe injuries. The Hartsville police chief leaving that department, Chief James Hudson, is taking on a leadership role in the Darlington County Sheriff's Office. Hudson has served the city of Hartsville for 3.5 years now. He also started what's called the STAND program, which helps fight local drug problems there. The chief deputy for the sheriff's office, Jerry Thompson, will take over as acting police chief for Hartsville. For many, the purse strings were very tight last year, and if you're already starting 2015 off in severe debt, you need to seek out help now before it gets out of hand even more. Katrina Helmer joins us live once again in Horry County from the Horry County State Bank in Carolina Forest. You know, this is a real problem for a lot of people, and the problem could be exacerbated if they see the wrong people to help, couldn't it?
That's exactly right. And the safest bet when it comes to actually trusting someone with those debts is to either go to a financial advisor, a tax CPA, or an attorney. Now, if you're to the point where you're getting collection notices and you just simply can no longer afford the bills you have, you should seek out an attorney. Normally, the initial consultation is free to see if they can help mitigate your debts, but then you will have to pay as they proceed. An attorney is the safest way to guarantee legitimate help that will eventually relieve you of debt and help you get back on your feet so you can build a healthy, doable budget. And before you start moving parts of the budget around to alleviate the debt, you want to figure out how and why you're in this situation in the first place. Those habits, whether it's overspending or misuse of funds, are what need to change so the debt crisis doesn't happen again. And as you look to pay off your debts, you need to make sure you're comparing apples to apples.
In some situations, they think that I'll take it off of my equity line and move it over to my credit card and pay it off. Well, your equity line is secured on your house. Your credit card is not secured. It's an unsecured debt. So when you're sitting down and working with an attorney, that's important.
Credit card companies are going to do anything they can to get whatever they can back, since that is unsecured debt. So a lawyer or financial advisor can help make sure you are negotiating correctly, and you do need to take action as soon as possible so you can get those checking and savings account back to positive numbers, because the negative impact of late or non-payments can affect your credit score for up to 7 years, and that can later affect your future possibility of making more purchases or investments. Reporting live in Carolina Forest, Katrina Helmer, WMBF News.
Katrina, thank you. Obviously never a good idea to just assume anyone who advertises they can help can actually help you, so be on the lookout for that. Starting today, the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources will begin issuing 1- and 3-year licenses. This depends on the type that you're trying to get. They'll expire on the anniversary date of their issue. Now remember that hunting and fishing licenses can be bought at DNR's website or by visiting one of 500 licensing vendors across the state. For the new terms for each of these licenses and for a link to the website at DNR, just visit our website at WMBFnews.com. We have everything you need to know in the story under our local tab. Attorneys for Governor Nikki Haley and the legislature want the state Supreme Court to reconsider its ruling that lawmakers have failed South Carolina's poor and rural children. That decision orders lawmakers to fix the educational system to give more students the opportunity to succeed. Rural districts filed the lawsuit 21 years ago. Haley's position says the decision in November overlooked education initiatives that she pushed and legislators passed in last year's state budget. The Market Common Southern Times Square, quite the turnout there. Parking lots and garages were filled hours before the ball dropped at about 6:30 last night, and people from all ages joined in on the fun. Organizers say this year they tried to have more activities for the entire family. One father and daughter visiting from New York City tells us the difference between the celebration here and the one in the Big Apple.
A lot more vendors in the streets, like a lot more. It's more of a street fair atmosphere. The cart set up, the arcade games. They have the pendant area, which seems to be the drinking area for later.
Yeah, take that, Big Apple. Organizers say they noticed a great deal of talk on social media and believe it probably helped spread the word about the events there at the Market Common this year. They also tell us they hope the event will lead people to returning to the area all year long. And the New Year's celebration happened across the country and the globe, of course, from Asia to Europe to Manhattan. People celebrated with parties, music, and well wishes. NBC's Sarah Doloff has that story.
In the first few minutes of 2015, the skies above New Zealand filled with color and cheers. A similar scene in Australia, where more than 1 million people gathered to watch 7 tons of fireworks set off over Sydney Harbour. Across Asia, music, parties, and yes, more fireworks. Hundreds gathered outside Tokyo's Prince Park Hotel for a balloon drop. North Koreans were treated to a fireworks show in the country's capital city. And Beijing's celebration centered around the national stadium known as the Bird's Nest, an effort to showcase the city's bid to host the 2022 Olympics. Paris, the so-called City of Lights, hosted a spectacular light show. Performers wowed the crowd in Berlin as revelers braved the cold. And thousands ring in the new year with a one-of-a-kind fireworks display at the world's tallest building in Dubai. But perhaps the most famous New Year's party belonged to New York City and the drop of that iconic Waterford crystal ball. 1 million people packed into Times Square to cheer it on. A new year with new wishes across the globe. In Times Square, Sarah Doloff, NBC News.